You didn't call my name.
Neha.
Yes, sir.
Right, Neha. Trisha? Trisha is there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Syed?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I'm there.
Tushar Singh?
Sir,
Yes,
there
sir.
are two Sayyids.
Right. Tejaswini?
Yes, sir.
Sri Chandana?
Yes, sir.
Bhatia? Rit Bhatia?
Yes, sir.
Pulkit Chahar?
Yes, sir.
Prabhat Shukla?
Yes, sir.
Parash Chawla?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Manan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Rajendra?
Yes, sir.
Devendra?
Yes, sir.
Ramesh? Harshini?
Yes, sir.
Bhavik Agarwal?
Yes, sir.
Anushka Shagar?
Yes, sir.
Arjun Kirde?
Yes, sir.
Anna Joseph?
Yes, sir.
Anuj?
Yes, sir.
Anuj?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anuj Srivastava? Absent.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are present.
Yes, sir. Actually, my voice was breaking, so I couldn't listen.
Okay. Aman? Amma Seth?
Present, sir.
Advai?
Present, sir.
Adarsh? Adarsh? Adarsh, absent. Anshul Toshniwal?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Who is speaking?
Sir, Ayush speaking, sir. Ayush.
Okay, right. Present. Only Adarsh, I guess, absent. Yeah. Attendance is downloaded. Fine. Well, is my screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Right. So you have any doubts on first module?
Ma'am, I am present. My name is Adarsh. Sir, I am present. It was muted, sir.
Okay. Right. Noted. Well, you have any doubts on first module? Any doubts on first module? If you have no doubts, then we will move on to the second module. What is the second module for us? What is the title of the second module? Neha?
Sir?
What is the title of the second module?
Random variable.
Good. Random variables. Well, so I think all of you have studied certain basics on probability, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now in today's session, of course, this PPT is uploaded under the class material for you. Okay. The second module is random variables. In this module, we are going to learn certain topics like what is random variable, that means the definition of random variable, then what is probability mass function, and what are distribution functions, then followed joint probability distributions, then marginal conditional distributions, and then we move on the mathematical. We are going to find out mean, variance, the moments, etc. Variance, covariance, and so on. And lastly, we are going to discuss what is moment generating function and characteristic function of a random variable. Okay. So these are the topics. You can refer the textbook probability and statistics for engineers and scientists by and one more. This is one of the books in the list of references of your course. Okay. As you are aware, certain basics on probability. So may I hear from you the definition of probability?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Someone?
Sir, your voice is breaking.
Yes, sir. Your voice is breaking.
So can someone say what is a probability? The definition of probability as you studied. Anyone?
Sir, it's chance of occurrence of any kind of event.
It's a chance of occurrence of an event, right?
Yes.
Is it the only chance of occurrence of an event representing the probability, or
Sir, it is a ratio of the number of events occurring to the total number of the outcomes.
so I think you need to little bit correct. So the ratio of the number of favorable chances of the event upon the
Total number of outcomes.
So that is actually, so the ratio of the number of favorable chances of an event and the total number of possible outcomes of the experiment. What is that experiment we call normally? Is that experiment a random experiment or the experiment which you are practicing in the laboratory? This is a random experiment. Okay. So you must know what is random experiment and so on first. Before going to defining the random variables, you must know what is random experiment. And prior to that, some preliminaries which you already familiar. Okay. I will start with the random experiment definition. So what is random experiment now? Can you give some example at least for random experiment?
Yes, sir. Like
So tossing a
tossing
coin.
of a coin.
Who is saying this answer?
Rolling of a dice.
Someone said tossing a coin. Who said?
Throwing a dice.
Okay, someone saying is die. What is that die? Is a die is a random experiment or throwing a die is a random experiment?
So
Throwing a dice.
The experiment throwing a die. So what is that? I can say random experiment. You are giving some examples. So can you figure out certain features of that experiment? Or the principles? Suppose as someone said tossing a so things that you are
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir.
voice is breaking. I'm using office network only.
Yes, sir.
So I'll start speaking. Now, am I audible to you now?
A little better, sir.
Okay, I will start speaking slowly. Maybe it is taking some time to reach out to you if I am going a little bit fast. Okay. Well, as someone said, tossing a coin is a random experiment. Now, what are the things that we can observe while tossing a coin? Can we list certain observations while tossing a coin? The common observation. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Syed, can you say something? What are the common observations we can observe while tossing a coin?
Sir, it can be either a head or tails.
Got one observation. You said you could able to list. Is the only two possible outcomes or even more?
Sir, if one coin is tossed, then just two.
No, you have one coin only, right? Right now.
Yes,
Is
sir.
the only two observation, two outcomes are possible, or more than that?
So just two.
Okay, right. So means that before performing an experiment, you will come to know that what are the possible outcomes of an experiment, right? Before tossing the coin itself, you know what are the possible outcomes, right? Either head or tail, right?
Yes, sir.
So you can list out all the possible outcomes before performing an experiment, right? This is same as even throwing a coin, a die. What are the possible outcomes you can expect?
One to six.
Throwing a die. While throwing a die, what are the possible outcomes you can expect?
1 to 6 numbers.
1 to 6 numbers. Means that before performing an experiment, you could able to list out all the possible outcomes of that experiment, right? Either throwing a die or tossing a coin, or suppose I wanted to select 1 out of 65 at random. In how many ways I can select? Sorry, someone is saying something. I wanted to select one of you, as you know the class is contains 65 students. In how many ways I can select 1 out of 65?
So it's 65
One
C1.
approx.
65 C1. That is
So your voice is breaking.
Right?
So your voice is breaking.
I can list out all those possible combinations, right?
Yes, sir.
Isn't
Can you
it?
repeat?
Huh?
Your voice is breaking.
The thing is that if a class contains 65 students, and if I wanted to select one out of 65, in how many ways I can select one out of 65? That is 65 C1. 65 C1 is equal to 65. 65 ways I can select one student out of 65. Okay. So you are able to list out all the possible before starting an experiment. That is one of the feature of the random experiment. Okay. The next observation is that the occurrence of tail or head, is it depends on the occurrence of any other outcomes? Hello? The occurrence of tail, is it depends on the occurrence of head, or the occurrence of head, is it depends on the occurrence of tail while tossing a coin?
Yes, sir. So if it is tail, then the head would not come, and then if
Is
it is head, then
is it?
tail will
Suppose you are tossing a coin, who is saying the answer?
Sir Anmol Gupta.
Anmol.
Yes, sir.
Anmol, you are tossing a coin. Suppose you got some outcome as something like a head. Then again you are going to toss it. Whether the next outcome is it depends on the previous outcome?
No, sir. No, sir.
No. The outcomes are independent while performing an experiment, right?
Yes, sir.
This is very, very important point. Remember, the outcomes are independent. You could able to list out all the possible outcomes well before the experiment. Then okay, all right. Do you say exactly what is the outcome it is going to turn when you are going to toss the coin?
No, sir.
Can you say
No,
exactly what is the outcome?
No, sir.
No. That means you do not know the exact outcome in advance while performing the experiment, right? You can say some probable chance, that is different, but you can't say exactly, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, these are certain features of this random experiment. Let us look at what is a random experiment. A random experiment is an experiment in which all outcomes of the experiment are known in advance, isn't it? Any performance of the experiment results in an outcome that is not known in advance. Means that you can't say the outcomes in advance. Okay. Exactly. Of course, the point independence is missed. That also we can take into the account, and the experiment can be repeated under any identical conditions. Let's suppose the same conditions and so on you have taken into the account, and tossing a coin today or tomorrow or any other day, will it change the possible outcomes? Is it time dependent, the possible outcomes of performing this random experiment?
No, sir.
Hello? No, right?
No, sir.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir. It is not dependent on time.
Right, right. Good, good. So these are the features for the random experiment. Now, what is the sample space?
So sample space
Sample
is the
space
list of all the possible
collection
outcomes.
of all the possible
Possible
outcomes of the random experiment. Right?
Yes, sir.
Set of all possible outcomes of the random experiment is called sample space. Normally deals. So toss of a coin will result as two possible outcomes, namely tail and head. This collection is called as sample space, that is denoted by. Likewise, if you are going to throw two dice, so what are the possible outcomes? 36 combinations, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The 36 combinations are listed here. Like 1, 1, die 1 is showing the outcome as 1, and die 2 is also turn up the same outcome. Or maybe die 1 showing as outcome 1, and die 2 may be showing as, outcome as 2, and so on. So 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6. Similarly, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, and so on. 2, 6. 3, 1, 2, 3, 6. 4, 1, 2, 4, 6. 5, 1, 2, 5, 6. 6, 1, 2, 6, 6. It is going to be something like an arrangement of 6 cross 6. So 36 possible outcomes you have, right? Likewise, if you are going to, toss at times, what are the can you guess? Throwing a die, tossing a coin 10 times, then what is the size of the sample space?
So like the 10 times simultaneously.
Tossing a coin 10 times, then how many number of elements will be there in S? Tossing a coin 10 times, then how many number of elements, this kind of combinations, how many number of elements will be there in the sample space? Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Ah.
So are we tossing the coins 10 times simultaneously, or like one after the other?
Sir, 6 power n.
You have one coin tossing 10 times, it results different combination of outcomes. Sorry, tossing a coin will have two outcomes, but as you are repeating that 10 times of tosses, you will have different combination of outcomes. Then how many, what is the size of the sample space?
Sir, 2 raised to power 10.
Who said the answer?
Sir, Abbas Sayyid.
Abbas, huh?
Yes, sir.
Right answer. So 2 to the power 10 is the size of the sample space when you are tossing a coin 10 times. Likewise, if I toss a coin 5 times, 2 to the power 5 combinations. Okay. So in general, if I have a coin and tossing n times, then the sample space would result 2 to the power n possible outcomes. Okay, right. So you understood the definition of sample space and the random experiment. What is random event now? So a random event is a non-empty subset, say denoted by A, of a sample space S, and this A can be expressed as a disjoint union of singleton element subsets of the sample space S. Okay. In simple, if A is expressed as the element of okay. If you fail to express A as the disjoint union of singleton elements of S, then A is not a random event. Okay. An event is a subset to a sample space. The complement of an event A with respect to the sample space S is the subset of all elements of S that are not in A and denoted by A dash. When do we say that two events, namely A and B, are mutually exclusive or disjoint? So if their intersection is empty, then we say that the two events are mutually exclusive. Means that A and B have no common elements. Now, what is the probability of an event? You all familiar to this definition? The number of favorable outcomes of an event, the number of favorable outcomes of is missed here, of an event E divided by the total possible outcomes of the sample space. The number of favorable outcomes of an event E is denoted by N of E divided by this total outcomes is supposed to denoted by N of S, and this ratio will give us P of E, probability of an event E. Okay. I can extend this concept to a set function, the probability set function, where the probability set function P is defined from a sum to a real system. Will give us some real value. Of course, this real value is again bounded between 0 and 1. Okay. So P is mapping from S to R, such that it holds certain qualities or the axioms. So by default, the probability of an event is always greater than or equal to 0. As we said, number of favorable outcomes, this number is always a positive quantity. The number of total outcomes is always positive quantity. The numerator and denominator is positive. And the ratio of this smaller than or equal to the denominator or less than or equal to the denominator. Hence, this value would always be greater than or equal to 0, and it can be at most 1 again. So probability of an event E is greater than or equal to 0. Probability of an empty set is 0. Probability of the entire sample space is 1. And probability of two events, sum of the two events, say E1 and E2, can be expressed as probability of E1 plus probability of E2, where E1 intersection E2 is empty. Okay. So this P is not required. E1 intersection E2 is empty enough. Where E1 intersection E2 is empty. So have you understood these preliminaries? Hello. So this is already uploaded for your reference, right? And these are a few more formulas which you already learned. Okay. Now one example, a die is loaded in that an even number is twice as likely to occur as an odd number. If E is the event that a number less than 4 occurs, find the probability of E. So these kind of simple questions, I think you could able to answer. You could be able to answer as you solve as many as probability problems. Okay. These are all the formulas you learned at +1 and +2 standard while learning this probability, right? So these formulas I'm leaving to you as you are aware, and our topic is going to start mainly from random variable and Bayes theorem. All these conditional probabilities, everything, all these formulas you are well aware, Bayes rules and so. Okay, I'd like to skip these formulas as well. So the example on the Bayes principle is skipping. Now our module mainly starts from random variables. Okay. Now what is random variable? And random variable is a function which takes a real number with respect to each of the element of the sample space. Okay. Means that I have some sample space. The sample space is listed, say 2 balls of different color. Let us suppose red, black and red, and black and black. Now what I can do is, if I am going to denote the function x representing the number of red balls observed in the sample space. The number of red balls observed in the sample space. How many red balls are there in the first case, R and R?
2.
2. So the number x is taking 2. Is it a real value? 2 is a real number or not? So you are associating a real value to the element of the sample space. Okay. R and R is assigned with some 2. R and B, how many red balls are there?
1.
1. The value 1 is assigned here. Here, how many red balls are there?
1.
1. How many red balls are there in the last case? Last
0.
row? 0. Like this, you are assigning certain real values to each and every element of the sample space. Such a function of x is simply representing a random variable. Understood? You are clear on the definition of random variable? Hello? Hello? Whether you are clear on this definition?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you are looking at tossing a coin, what are the possible outcomes of the tossing a coin? Is it tail and heads? Only 2 possible outcomes?
Yes, sir.
Now what I can do is the random variable capital X, which is a function, takes certain real values, in particular 0 and 1s. If my x is little x is denotes the capital T, then I may take the value 0. If my x is denotes the capital H, then I may take the value 1. Thus, my random variable capital X can be defined in such a way that x can assume the value 0 or 1. 0 assigned to T, 1 is assigned to H. That's all. Is it simple now? So S contains basically characters here that you are converting into the numerical form by giving an appropriate real value to that each of the elements of X. Each of the elements of S, right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. Right. Another example. Let the random experiment be tossing a coin of 2 coins. Tossing of 2, and the point of in each outcome be the number of heads that turn up. Number of heads that turn up. Then the probability distribution over the elements of the sample space. Yes. What is the case we consider? The number of hits turn up. So S contains the possible outcomes of the random experiment. What are the possible outcomes of the random experiment when you are tossing a coin twice or maybe 2 coins? The possible outcomes are tail tail or tail head or head and tail or head head, right? Isn't it? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Any other possible combinations when you are tossing 2 coins?
No.
Only these 4, right? Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what is my random variable? I have to assign some value to these things, right? So what are the possible values for x? The number of heads turn up. In the first case, any heads are there?
No, sir.
So therefore it is 0, right?
Yes, sir.
And here, how many heads are there?
1.
Here?
1.
1. And here?
1.
1 or 2?
2, sir.
So here 1 and there last 2.
So actually, so there is
0, 1, 0.
So there's a lack.
1. Last case is 2 heads, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So finally,
Yes, sir, yes.
if you write X as a collection of these different elements, what are the elements are there in the capital X? 0, 1 and 2, only 3 distinct elements, right? But 1 may be appeared 2 times, remember, the frequency. isn't it? It is same as this. One is appear twice here. But distinct elements, if you look at it as a collection, it is x can take the values 3 distinct elements. One is 0, one is 1, and the next one is 2. Only 3 different combination of elements x can assume. In that, the frequency of those values may be different. Okay. If that is the case, now the probability of 0 heads is, what is the probability of 0 heads? TT, right? 1 by 4. What is the probability that exactly one head appearing? Now, the number of favorable outcomes, TH and HT, 2 possible outcomes, isn't it? 2 possible outcomes divided by the total possible outcomes of the sample space, that is 4. So 2 by 4, is it 1 by 2?
Yes, sir.
So exactly one outcome is this one, and this is also 1, but the frequency is 2, so I can take 2 by 4. Okay. So 2 by 4 is resulting as 1 by 2. Then the probability of exactly 2 head is again only one chance is there. So 1 by the total chances is 4. So 1 over 4. So total possibilities is 4. Do you understand this example? I think this is very simple for you. Is it clear? Do you have any doubt on this? Hello?
No doubt, sir.
No doubt. So now we need to answer this example, the second example. Can you answer the second example? Hello? Can someone read the question? Let the probability set function P is given by fx is equal to 3x square by 8. X belongs to the set, the sample space S is equal to, the x is taking now 0 less than x less than 2. X can assume any value in the interval 0, 2. Whereas in the previous case, x is taking the value 0 or 1 or 2. It is not taking any value between 0 and 1 or between 1 and 2, right? So therefore, this x is now discretized x. Whereas here, the x is taking the interval type of data. So within that small interval, you may have infinitely many points. This is referring to a continuous type of variable. Okay, right? So hence, I suppose to make use integration instead of the summations. So what we want? Probability of A1. Probability of, how do we get the probability of A1? If you learned this point in +2, can you give the answer? A1 is the domain 0 to 1 by 2, right? Integral 0 to 1 by 2
1 by 64
f dx is the probability of A1.
Yes, sir, 1 by 64.
So now this is equal to integral 0 to 1 by 2 fx is 3 times x square by 8 whole dx. This answer 3 by 8 is a scalar taken outside the integration. integration of x square dx. Integration of x square dx. Is it x cube by 3? Over the limits 0 to 1 by 2, right? Can you substitute and simplify and give me the answer?
So 1
So
by
this
6.
3 gets cancelled. So 1 by 8, this is 1 by 2 whole cube. 1 by 2 whole cube is 8. Is it something like 1 over 64?
Yes, sir.
You all getting the same answer? Is it right? Hello?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
have any doubt how to find the probability of A1 here? My dear student, as it is a continuous function, we need to use the integration rather than the summation. Okay. Well, similarly, what is P of A1? Sorry, P of A2?
7 by 8.
So P of A2. So this is now taking the limits from 1 to 2. Is 1 to 2 fx dx, right? One to 2 fx dx. It is again now 3 gets cancelled. This is the resulting answer.
So 7 by 8.
1 to 2. 7 by 8. So 8 by, what is that? 3 gets cancelled. 8 minus 1, 7. 7 by 8. Right answer. Now you need to find out probability of A1 union A2. How do you get the probability of A1 union A2?
So by applying the formula.
What is the formula that you are going to apply?
So PA1 plus PA2 minus PA intersection B.
Is A1 and A2 are independent now? Their intersection is empty or non-empty?
So empty.
A1, x will assume 0 to half, and whereas in A2, x will take 1 to 2. Is there any common portion between A1 and A2 regions?
No, sir.
Sir, your voice is breaking.
A1 intersection A2 is empty, isn't it? Is it empty or not?
Yes, sir.
When A1 intersection A2 is empty, by the definition of probability set function, what is the answer? P of A1 plus E1 plus E2 is nothing but union form. P of E1 union E2 is equal to P of E1 plus P of E2. So therefore, what I can write, probability of A1 union A2 is equal to A1 plus probability of A2, as their intersection is 0, empty, and probability of an empty set is always 0. So this is resulting as 1 over 64 as 7 by 8 is how much after taking the LCM? Is that 57 by 64?
Yes, sir.
Do do you understand how to evaluate probability for continuous case now? Hello. Till this point, I think, I guess, you studied in +2 for both continuous, and some boards they might study it. I don't know whether all of you studied or not. Okay. Is it clear how to find the probability for of different events, probability for different events which are under discrete or continuous cases? In the next slide, I am going to give you the complete outline of what is discrete and what is continuous. Okay. With that, I would like to stop.
So I didn't understand that how integrating it we can get the probability of the event A.
Simple idea is that now you have some function here. Remember, this is some probability function. So you need to find out or sum
what
up
does this
all the
function actually
probabilities.
represent?
Remember, somewhere you have what is that? 0, 1, 2. So this is 0, this is 1, x is 1, and somewhere again x is 2. Imagine. Okay. Now actually, in the case of discrete probabilities, what we do is we used to accumulate in order to find the probability. What is p of x equal to 0? What is p of x is equal to 1? What is p of x equal to 2? That will give us the total probability for 0 to 2 under the discrete category. Is it right? You used to take p of x is 0, p of x is 1, p of x is 2, like that, right?
Yes, sir.
But here, if it is a continuous case, between 0 to 1, how many points will be there?
It's infinite.
So now you need to look at as an area here, because the region is going to cover in the area form. Got it? Is it right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Now probability is looking at as an area here, remember. So 0 to 1, how much area it is covered, the curve. Then 1 to 2. Hello?
Yes, sir.
You place the curve here, 3x square by 8. 3x square by 8, is it a parabolic curve?
Yes, sir.
So now you draw the 3x square by 8 parabola. How much area is occupying from 0 to, what is that? 0 to half, and then 1 to 2. That is giving us probability again. Okay, under the continuous
Yes,
case.
sir. Yes, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Because you can't accumulate all those infinitely many points, right?
Yes, sir.
Through integration only you can come to know that how much. Got it? Any other idea is there to add infinitely many points other than the integration?
No, sir.
No. That is the only idea and the easiest technique. Okay. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I clarified your doubt? Good.
Yes.
So is it now simple? Fine. So I would like to clarify once again what is discrete and what is continuous. Okay. So as you already learned what is discrete and continuous in the last module also, can you clarify once again what is discrete and continuous? A discrete variable takes the points like the points in a whole number system, counting numbers, isn't it? Whereas continuous variable will take the points like the points in a real number system or an interval type of points, isn't it? If
Yes,
the
sir.
sample space takes the discretized like this T, T, H, H, these are counting process, then sample space is also a discrete sample space. Sometimes your sample space is also a continuous sample space, means that it will take some, this kind of range of data points. Okay, infinitely many points. Then this sample space is called a continuous sample space. Okay, if the random variable is defined on a discrete sample space, then the random variable is called a discrete random variable. If the random variable x is defined on the continuous sample space, then it is called a continuous random variable. Okay, discrete sample space, continuous sample space. As I said, the points like in the whole number system will represent a discrete sample space. The points on a line segment or in the real number system will represent a continuous sample space. Okay, right? For any probability distribution function, there are three qualities as we discussed in the case of probability set function. The probability distribution function, say fx is always greater than or equal to 0. And sum of all the probabilities under the discrete case, what it result? The total probability. Hello? Is the total probability always 1?
Yes, sir.
So probability of capital X equal to little x is equal to fx. So this is called probability function on a discrete sample space or on the discrete random variable. For any probability function, these three qualities are there. Okay. Whereas in the case of continuous case, instead of this summation, we use only integration. Is it clear now? Integral minus infinity to plus infinity fx dx is equal to 1. This is representing the total probability under continuous case, and this represents the total probability under discrete case. And these two gives us, the probability value always, non-negative. And this is the, sorry?
So can you please continue in the next class?
Next class only will be continued. Only with this slide I am going to stop. Okay.
Okay, sir.
The examples, everything will be covered in the next class. Okay. As the continuous and discrete is explained, and this probability set function definition also given earlier, I just connected to that. Here I have given you, right, probability set function definition. P of E is greater than or equal to 0. P of S is equal to 1. This is the total probability, right? So the same thing here I am giving in a more mathematical notion. Okay. So these 2 points you keep in mind hereafter. Okay, for a discrete case and for continuous case. And up to this slide is already uploaded in this Teams, which is already available. Before the next class, you all supposed to go through these fundamentals and key formulas what I have uploaded for your reference under the files, under the class materials. Whether you are able to download this?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Taking
sir.
some time for me. Yeah. If you are able to download it, you download and read out those formulas and practice some of the questions which are there in that for your practice. As the fundamentals, mainly going to start from this definition, like this discrete, continuous, and so on. Okay, this is what actually the module starts. Okay, random variables, then probability mass function. This probability mass function is this. The probability function which is defined on the discrete sample space is called a probability mass function, and this is called probability density function. Okay, right? So the examples, everything will start from this point onwards. Okay, for this module. This is the copy that I uploaded for your reference. So if you have no doubts, then I would like to end up the session. Okay, go through this PPT. Right. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Any more doubts?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you all. Some practice
Thank
sums
you.
also. If you are able to understand, you can write.
So which PPT is this?
In the sense,
What is the name? I can't find it.
we go to the class material. Under this files, no, class material
Okay.
is there.
Yes.
So in that, M2 module 2 2001 random variables. Can you find now?
Yes, sir, found it.
Right. Well, yeah. Can I end the session?
Sir.
Hello.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah, who is speaking? Who is speaking? You tell me your name. Tell me your name. Am I?
Sir, Rishik, sir.
Rishi, tell me.
Sir, I had joined lately, sir, today due to network issue. Can you please mark me present?
What time you joined?
10, sir. 10, 12 like that.
10, 12. I'll check and update.
I kept message in chat box, sir.
What is your name? You said Rishi.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
If you are adding your, I'm not finding Rishik, right? Venkata Rishik, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, right.
Thank you, sir.
Right.